Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news, so let's dive into this big development that's been making waves across the NFL, especially in the AFC North, and it's directly tied to the Steelers' future plans. Recently, news broke about a significant trade that could reshape not just the division but the entire landscape of the NFL. And no, it's not just about some random player moving around. It's about a young, explosive wide receiver who's been making headlines and has the potential to be a game changer for whichever team lands him. The player in question, Jameson Williams. Yes, the same Jameson Williams who had a breakout season last year with the Detroit Lions, accumulating over 1,000 yards and scoring 7 touchdowns. That kind of production, it's rare, and it immediately catches the attention of every team looking to bolster their offensive firepower. But what makes this story so intriguing isn't just the fact that Williams is a talented receiver. It's the underlying strategic considerations that surround his future in the league. You see, the Detroit Lions, after a promising season, are now facing a critical decision. Their front office is pondering whether they can afford to keep Williams long-term, especially as he approaches the final year of his rookie contract in 2026. The reality is that Williams's current trajectory, which is undeniably impressive, could lead him to command a massive extension. And with the Lions already invested heavily in Amon-Ra St. Brown, paying 2 top-tier receivers big money might not be sustainable. It's a classic NFL dilemma: how to build a winning roster without breaking the bank, especially at the wide receiver position where the market continues to skyrocket. In fact, this situation has led to speculation that the Lions might consider trading Williams before his contract runs out. Now, that's not just idle chatter. It's rooted in real NFL strategy and economics. When a young player like Williams shows such promise, teams have to ask themselves, do we extend now, or do we trade and get value before his market value skyrockets? That's exactly what Colton Pouncey from The Athletic pointed out recently. He mentioned that if Williams continues on his current path, he'll be looking for a lucrative deal. And with Detroit's tight salary cap situation and their commitment to other players, a trade could be in the cards as early as 2026. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting for us Steelers fans. Because among the teams that could benefit from this potential trade, the Philadelphia Eagles stand out as a very logical landing spot. The Eagles, after all, already have a formidable receiving core led by A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. But even with that duo, they're still looking to add more firepower, not just for immediate needs but also for the future. A.J. Brown, who just signed a big extension after Chase reset the market with his $25 million deal, is entering the later stages of his prime at 28 years old. Yes, he's still an elite receiver, but the Eagles are wise to start planning ahead, especially considering the longevity of their current stars. And that's where Jameson Williams fits perfectly. Think about it. He's just 24, full of potential, and possesses the kind of speed and explosiveness that can turn any game around. Williams and Smith may not have played together at Alabama, but they already share a strong friendship, and there's a buzz that their chemistry could be electric on the field. Before Williams was drafted, there were even whispers that having him alongside Smith could lead to the most explosive offense in the NFL. Imagine a duo of Devonta Smith and Jameson Williams, stretching the field, creating mismatches, and making life difficult for defenses. That's a nightmare for any opposing coordinator. And for the Eagles, acquiring Williams isn't just about plugging a hole. It's about building a future-proofed offensive core around Jalen Hurts. The Eagles' offense is already potent, but adding a young, dynamic wide receiver like Williams would give them an even more unpredictable attack. It would allow them to diversify their routes, add deep threats, and keep defenses guessing. Plus, Williams's friendship with Smith and his potential to develop into a true number 1 makes this trade not just a smart move, it could be a pivotal one for Philadelphia's championship ambitions. Now, let's not forget the Steelers' perspective here. While the news is centered around the Lions and Eagles, it's impossible not to think about how this impacts the AFC North, and specifically, Pittsburgh's ongoing quest for consistency and Super Bowl contention. The Steelers, with their rich history and a roster that's steadily improving, are always looking for ways to elevate their game. If a player like Williams becomes available, it could shake up the entire draft and trade landscape. Pittsburgh, with their strong defense and emerging offense, could see an opportunity to bolster their receiving core or make strategic moves to get even more competitive. Of course, the Steelers have their own talent at wide receiver, and they're building around young stars like George Pickens, who showed flashes of brilliance last season. But adding a player of Williams' caliber, if the opportunity presents itself, could be a game changer. Imagine a future where the Steelers have a deep, explosive receiving group that can stretch the field and complement their solid running game and defense. That's the kind of team that can make a real Super Bowl push in today's NFL, which increasingly favors high-powered offenses. Now, circling back to the broader picture, the NFL landscape is constantly shifting. The trade market is heating up, and teams are always looking for that edge, that secret weapon that can push them over the top. The Lions, in a tricky spot financially, might see trading Williams as a strategic move to maximize their value before he hits free agency or signs a big extension. The Eagles, on the other hand, are in a position to pounce, especially if Williams becomes available. They've shown they're not afraid to make bold moves, and with their current roster and future planning, adding Williams could be the missing piece to finally get back to the Super Bowl and go even further. This entire scenario also raises questions about how NFL teams now view the wide receiver market. The trend is clear: young, explosive receivers are worth their weight in gold, and teams are willing to make bold moves to acquire them. Williams' potential trade exemplifies how teams are weighing their options, balancing immediate needs with long-term investments. It's a fascinating chess game, and the Steelers will definitely be watching closely, as this could influence how they approach their own roster upgrades or draft strategy. Looking ahead, the NFL offseason is always filled with surprises, and this one is shaping up to be no different. The possibility of Jameson Williams changing hands and landing with a team like the Eagles is a storyline that will dominate conversations for weeks. For us Steelers fans, it's a reminder that the league is in a constant state of flux, and we need to stay sharp, ready for anything. Whether it's a trade, a draft pick, or a surprise signing, the Steelers are always in the mix, and this news underscores how competitive and unpredictable the NFL truly is. And think about the broader implications for division rivals. If the Eagles do land Williams, it could significantly impact the AFC North's dynamics. Teams like the Bengals, Ravens, and Browns will have to adjust their game plans accordingly. It's all interconnected. One move can ripple across the entire division, and that's what makes following NFL news so exciting. For Steelers fans, it's a reminder that staying informed means staying ahead, ready to analyze how these moves will influence the upcoming season and beyond. So in summary, this potential trade involving Jameson Williams is not just about one player changing teams. It's about a strategic shift, a move that could impact the division, the conference, and perhaps even the entire NFL landscape. The Lions have to consider their long-term plans, the Eagles see a golden opportunity to improve their offense, and the Steelers, well, they're always watching, always strategizing for their next big move. This is what makes NFL offseason so compelling: the drama, the negotiations, the potential for new superstars emerging, and the balance of power shifting in the blink of an eye. And for us Steelers fans, that's what makes every update, every rumor so exciting to follow. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Lions should trade Williams before his value skyrockets? Or do you believe the Eagles are making the right move by targeting such a young and explosive receiver? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and your insights are what make this community so special. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. We're always here to bring you the most detailed, comprehensive, and engaging coverage of your favorite team. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Steelers.